I already informed you that I am coming to Dubai and Abu Dhabi in the first week of October. Our meeting in Abu Dhabi is on the 5th of October. Those desires of meeting me in Abu Dhabi on 5th of October may contact the WhatsApp number and the email ID given below. In case you have not already done so, kindly do so at the earliest. There are limited seats.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and we're about to get into starting the next week, being the first week of October and the last day of September. Me and Dana had a discussion about this on the podcast, so I wonder what the answer came out to be. I still think it is the first week of October and it's not the last week of September. Anyway, that said, I do wish you a great week ahead. Before we get into the week, on the Instagram 52-week challenge, I put out a question after opened it up for questions after doing the ROC and ROCE, hoping that you guys would ask me doubts about that. But most of you seem to have taken that opportunity and asked me a whole bunch of questions which are not related to that. So I thought I'll open up these questions onto the video, answer some of them here, and the rest of them I'll try and talk about it in the Instagram group. And because I can't answer all of them here, because the video will become too long, more than 10-15 minutes, I don't think anybody's going to waste their Sunday evening right before the work week starts sitting and watching it. So I'm going to keep it as brief as possible and punch through these questions as fast as I can. The answers are going to be brief. I'm not going to try and talk too long about each one. Johan has said, PG Invit, can you talk about it, sir? I've done a video already on it. Please go check out. I'll ask Rupesh to link the video down below. Go see the PG Invit video. That should answer you all the questions you have about PG Invit and if you should be buying it or not and why we did talk about it and buying it before. Will IDFC and IDFC Bank merger impose tax deduction? As of now, we do not know how they're structuring the merger. Once those details are given to us, we will know. As in the case of Tata Motors DVR conversion to Tata Motor shares, we were told this is what's going to happen from Tata Motors, and then we knew, and then they communicated different steps, and even post allotment of the new shares, they gave us a detailed email giving you the breakup of how everything happened. So please hang on, you will get a mail from IDFC first. When this happens, the date is announced and how they plan to structure it, all those details will be shared by them. Haseen Sheikh has asked, sir, requesting you to slow down a bit as a newbie for me is finding it difficult. Well, Haseen, that's a wonderful thing about text chat groups because you can take your time and read. In the videos, yes, I do tend to talk fast and I do jump from topic to topic because my nature is like that. I do try and be cognizant of it and try to slow down. But, nature is more powerful than being conscious sometimes, especially when you're nervous. And I do tend to rattle on. But in the group, you can take your time and read and ask questions. And you can DM me always, Sheikh, and I'll try and answer you the best I can. Sasi Prashant has asked me, can you explain PEG ratio? Well, Sai Prashant. I do plan to do this in greater detail in our group, in 52-week challenge group. But in short, PEG ratio is price to earnings divided by earnings growth is what the metric is. And how is this? It tells you how much the investor is willing to pay for 1 unit of company's earning. So price to earnings ratio, that is how much you are willing to pay per unit. And earnings growth rate is typically expressed as a percentage that reflects on the rate expected the company is projected to grow. So this is where it kind of gets tricky because the earnings growth rate is not a fixed number. As I said, it is expressed as a percentage and it's an expected rate of growth the company is projected to earn. That means you're trying to be like an astrologer and trying to predict. So most of this will be looking at the past numbers and saying, okay, looking at the past numbers, I think they'll grow at like this kind of a percentage if everything continues and everything goes as is. So this is why it's a little difficult to use it, as a go-to metric. But definitely I'll talk more about it in the group. So keep an eye out over there. Why is this useful? Well, it is useful for companies' evaluation to see if the stock has potential for growth in the term window which you're looking at. So I would say you should use this metric with everything else and not only look at the PEG ratio. That would be my way of looking at it. Rajesh John, spelled differently, John. Anyway, he's saying CAGR over 10 years doesn't account for volatility of the stock. Yes, it doesn't account for the volatility of the stock. You're absolutely right. Abhishek is saying, sir, Tata Motors is not entering into two-wheeler segment. Well, they are not right now today. Tomorrow, I do not know what will happen. I cannot predict what will happen tomorrow. There was a point in time when Tata Motors were not making cars. They were only making commercial vehicles. Before that, they were not making commercial vehicles and they started making commercial vehicles. They were supplying parts for commercial vehicles. So this is always evolving in a company. The nice thing about the Tata Group is they always see where the horizon is, where the next step is, where the market is going, where the future is, and where society is moving, and they try and move towards that direction. That is why they've got into electronics. That's why they're doing lots of like electric vehicles, and even Tata Power is looking at electrification for electric vehicles. And even Chandra has come out saying by 2030 that 30% of all passenger vehicles sold by Tata will be electric. So they always try move forward that way. So if they see a reason for entering two-wheelers, definitely they will enter two-wheelers. As of now, they're not there, and maybe that will change. And another thing you should remember is the story of Tata Nano. Why Ratan Tata decided to create the Tata Nano. He saw an Indian family struggling to go on a bike, where instead of just being one and the pylon driver, there was a mother behind and plus 2 or 3 kids sitting in the bike. And he saw that and realized how dangerous that is. And the Indian families are not able to afford a car. So that story where Ratan Tata sees his Indian family struggling says that Indians are not able to afford cars. There's no affordable cars for Indian. And that was the dream of the Tata Nano. So I think, in a sense, Ratan Tata's vision is that two-wheelers are too many in India and it's very unsafe, and he would rather think about safety. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. As of now, this is where it stands. Maybe that will change in the future. But Abhishek, will keep always an eye out. And the day Tata decides to pivot for any reason, we'll definitely share it with you. Rifi is asking, 10K worth or less shares of Tata Motors or high, no IDFC, long time. I don't know what that is, Rifi. Maybe you can put the question again and I'll try and answer it. I couldn't understand that. Jennifer, Chris, unlisted Tata Capital PB is high. Can we buy them and book profit by listing? Well, Jennifer, I do not buy shares in grey market, and I don't believe grey market is very good at price transparency. And I rather apply for the IPO of Tata Capital if and when it happens and look at that point of time. I'm not in any urgency to buy it in the grey market. So it's something I wouldn't do, but I leave it up to you. If you know better, then you know better. Nitish K. Nowadays, buy shares in stock market is better or else buy bond better. Well, Nitish, it depends. It depends on if you are willing to spend time and analyze and find value buys here and there in the market. See those pockets of values in companies which you have researched and you have faith in and you understand their business model and you're willing to, take on that risk of investing. If you don't have any of this, and you're very nervous about it and you don't have the time because you're very busy, which I understand, everyone has a job and has a life to live, then I would suggest if you have lump sums of a lakh at least, then you can look into buying bonds and take the interest from the bonds and sip them into stocks. That is an option. If you don't have 1 lakh capital to start buying bonds, then my idea would be that you keep buying, accumulating small amounts of gold. When you have around 1 lakh worth of gold, at that point of time you can sell it and buy a bond instead. These are methods you can use to slowly get there, because the reason why I'm saying if you keep the money in your account and you say, I'll keep it in my savings account and every month I'll keep it there and then I will buy the bond when I have 1 lakh. Human tendency is that we usually tend to give in and to a temptation, and we'll see the free cash sitting when we have 50, 60,000 rupees saying, okay, I need the new iPhone. Let me buy it. I'll start again. Doesn't matter. I managed to save 50,000. No. So I will do it. And you will do this. So this is the reason why I'm saying lock up the money which you intend to invest with or buy bond with, in a way that you can keep it when you accumulate it to buy the bond or buy shares. I hope that gave you some clarity. Ganesh is saying, Ganesh Unofficial, what about railway stocks, RVNL? Well, I'm not very enthusiastic about buying things which are related to the government. I tend to stay away from that. So I don't even bother diving into it because I know how great government runs the country. And I'm not blaming the government. It's not something specifically to this government. It's all governments in general, because they are catering to politics and they have other priorities. So business management and business running is not their priority. And most of these companies are laden with debt and they're not very great. So that includes railway stocks. But if you know better, Ganesh, I definitely, if it's in your wheelhouse, go for it. It's not in mine. And what is the difference between book value and face value? Face value is known as the nominal value, is the original value of the stock or the bond or the certificate when the stock was created. Okay, it's a small arbitrary amount. It doesn't mean anything than it being of a certain unit. Usually in India, stocks, they start with 10 face value. So it's easy for them to decide to split it later on. So they may release the face value of 10, then they decide to split it to 5, then they might decide to split it to one. You've seen historically a lot of companies do this. Book value is what's the intrinsic value of the company. That means you take the total assets it has and remove all the liabilities and divide it by the total number of shares which are being traded in the market, including the owner's shares. Then you get something known as a book value, which is the value per share. That means each share has this much money attached to it. So it's like when you buy a flat, you have UDS, which is the undivided share. You can't go to the apartment block and say this plot of land is mine. You have so many square feet, which is your undivided share. So the name says, no, it's undivided share. Same way book value is like that. It is amount of money pegged to each share. So I hope that you understand that. Face value is a nominal amount which is put on a share when they create the share, which really doesn't mean anything other than it is just something which is used later on to split the share. And, for bonds, it is usually the amount the issuer agrees to repay at the time of maturity. But we are talking about stocks, but in stocks it has little significance to the investor other than serving for legal accounting means and later on splitting the share, like I said. So this is what book value and face value. Dinesh is saying stocks that are recommended when Nifty goes down Sensex from an all-time high. I'm a little confused about what Dinesh Dawson is saying. If you're talking about me giving you specific stocks, I don't do that. That you should follow my brother. He talks about specific companies and specific stocks and gives you recommendations or asks you to consider them. But I don't do that here. So Dinesh, follow Anand, and Anand gives these companies out. On Instagram, whenever I see anything which Anand gives out as a recommendation or Anand says, tells me that they, you should look at this, I do share it over there saying, this is what I'm doing, maybe going up today, but there are specific shares which we are looking at, which corrects. So I do share that information. Other than that, I specifically don't try and talk about companies saying you should buy this or buy that. Kishore is asking, what happened to the research team? Can I still join? I'm sorry, Kishore. As of now, the amount of applicants Albin got were too many. He is shortlisted and that is closed as of now. When that intern position opens up again, we will definitely put out another message in various platforms. At that time, you can apply if you're still interested at that point of time. But as of now, that intern research program, we're not taking fresh applications. Kalai Selvan is asking, can I buy IDFC or IDFC First Bank after Tata Motor DVR issue now is closed? Well, Kalai Selvan, the arbitrage position between IDFC and First Bank is very nominal now. Remember, you have to buy IDFC and that is converting into IDFC First Bank. So that's why I'm saying First Bank. Because if I say IDFC, a lot of you are getting confused. So you buy IDFC and that is being made into First Bank. 100 of these shares will become 155 shares of First Bank. So that is the ratio. And me and Dana have done quite a few videos on that. Do watch that video. It will tell you how to work it out. If you see an arbitrage position which you're interested in, I would say go for it. The problem with arbitrage position is as soon as the arbitrage is announced, the market starts moving towards minimizing that arbitrage, that imbalance which you see. Like Tata Motors DVR, I used to buy it for 20-30 rupees, while Tata Motors stock was trading at 200-300 rupees. That was a huge arbitrage. So back then, it was not announced any time it was going to happen. It was said, sometime in the future, we will think about it. That's how far back me and Anand used to buy Tata Motors DVR. So there was a huge arbitrage. And that once arbitrage was announced it's going to happen, that gap vanished. This is true with IDFC and IDFC First Bank. Keep that in mind. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. And I thought I've covered most of these questions which you've asked me. Some of them are pertaining to ROC and ROCE, which I'll answer in the group because that's what we've been talking about. And after I take a vote, if everyone's understood everything and questions are answered, we will move forward to the next part of the valuation which we've been doing. I hope you're enjoying the challenges there. If you are, do come and join us. Ask your friends to join us. We're having a lot of fun there. Thanks for watching the video again. Do share and comment down below. And I'll see you tomorrow in another video. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Be Rich. Before we get into the video, I wanted to bring to your notice that my uncles Vinod Srinivasan, Anand Srinivasan and I have rolled out our Substack, which is basically a blog/newsletter where we're going to post our original research onto it. And we've analyzed macroeconomic trends. And a lot of you know my uncle Anand Srinivasan and I regularly write for The Hindu. And these articles are also going to be made available for you in the Substack. The link is moatinvesting.substack.com. You'll find it in the description and in the video right now. We hope you go check it out. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. And please give us comments and feedback on what you read. Thank you.
It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.